Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Wilde On Season 4, the podcast where you get the insider's view of the weird, wild, wonderful world of wrestling. On Wednesdays, today's guest is as popular for being a gamer and streamer as she is a professional wrestler. She has brilliantly combined the two passions to catch the attention of top independent promotions and the likes of AEW. She has made quite a name for herself, becoming a regular on AEW Dark. Ladies and gentlemen, my girl, Vert Vixen. So you've been through some big life changes, I reckon, then in this last year.
Yeah, I've been all over the gamut, like everywhere. But you know, I'm a real believer in like the universe only gives you what you can handle, and that like not only that, but you're put on certain paths for certain reasons, and things may not work out how you expect them, but that's because they're not meant to work that way, and something better is coming along. So I just had to take everything in and be like, okay, I trust. This really sucks, but I trust. Like, this isn't what I wanted or what I expected, but I trust. Like, that's just, you just have to. It's been, especially in this business, like, it's like, on top of just life shit, like wrestling on top of it just being like physically hard and mentally hard, like in the ring and all of the aspects and the training on your body, like everything. It's also like emotionally hard. Like I've had mental breakdowns. I've had, you know, like, should I be on meds? You know, like what am I doing with my life? Like all over the gamut. It's been hard. So.
Well, I'm happy to see you, one, talking about it, because I think that's part of the healing process, right? Is
100%.
Talking about it. It's when you hold it all in and you're just like, I'm gonna blow. Actually, I'm really glad you touched on the whole experience of the universe, because that's really what I believe in. And would you say that you are pretty spiritually grounded, or?
I've always kind of been a spiritual person since I was little. Not to get into religion super much, but like I do believe in God, but I've never been like, I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Especially growing up in like a pretty hardcore Christian household, it was always like, how do I feel about this? You know, but there was, and you ask questions and you're punished for asking questions, and then it just makes you ask more questions and delve deeper. So I got pretty heavy into spiritual stuff when I was young. And then I kind of just grew up and lived my life, and it keeps coming back to me. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where now I'm kind of like, okay, this is just meant to be here in my life. Like I have my stones on me, and honestly, I go to my tarot cards probably nightly just to ask like a daily question and be like, hey, what do I need to know? Am I in the right direction? What's going on with this? And that kind of stuff has really helped me, because I don't know. It's just like sometimes you question like, why am I going through this? Why is this all happening? I thought that this was going to be one way or the other, and it's really hard to just blindly trust. So having that and having kind of something to go to has always helped me kind of sort through my life, if that makes sense.
Totally. And when I say spirituality, I know most people think like I'm talking about Catholicism or Christianity. I'm actually not talking about that at all. I am talking about straight up witchcraft. I'm talking about, but I love that you go to your tarot cards every night, because that's part of my morning ritual. So do you just do a single card pull? What do you do? 2-card pull?
It depends. It really depends. Like sometimes I'll shuffle through them, and I always ask like, depending on what's on my mind. If there's nothing on my mind, it'll be like, what do I need to know? But if I have a general question, I'll ask a general question, and I'll just shuffle until one comes out, and that's the one I know is meant. But then, like, if I don't understand it fully, then I'll be like, can you clarify? And then shuffle, and then I'll get like a couple clarifying cards. But so I guess normally it's one card, and then just with clarification cards. If I'm feeling froggy, I'll do like a 3-card. I haven't done like a Celtic cross or like a full reading for myself in a minute. It's been a minute since I've done that. That's a lot. I straight up read my cards before I shower in the bathroom.
I love that.
Well, it's like I have alone time, you know what I mean? And I'm like about to kind of like get ready for the night. So it's kind of one of those things where I can settle into it. So I literally just like before I shower, I pull my cards out because they're in the bathroom, and then I just pull them out, like, because like you said, you don't need like an elaborate setup to read tarot cards. Like, if your intuition talking to you, or your spirit guide, or the universe, or whatever, trying to communicate with you, so it's like, what, they don't give a fuck.
No, they don't care. They don't give a shit. They've seen you naked before. They don't care. to me, that's really genius because you're doing this read, whether it's for that day or predicting for the next few months ahead of you. And then you're doing this like unconscious or conscious cleansing ritual.
Yeah, it's totally unconscious, but now it's conscious. Now I'm aware of it. I didn't even think about it before. I was just like, this is like, it's just convenient.
You're like, it's just like, self-care. Because I always burn sage or whatever I feel like burning, whatever is calling to me. And then I read my cards and I journal it. I have to sage. I was told by another witch friend that like I am constantly having issues with negative things trying to attach to me. Yeah, if I don't sage, I get a little bit worried.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but that's, it's interesting that you unconsciously do this showering after you do your cards because you're tapping into spirit, right? You're tapping into the unknown realm and you're leaving yourself vulnerable. So I sage pre and it, it burns until my reading's over. So what about you? Have you had any run-ins or do you feel connected to the other side?
Yeah, 100%. I recently stayed at the Millennium Biltmore in Los Angeles, which I don't know if you know is like one of the most haunted hotels in like the United States. I had a hard time sleeping because that place is so active. I just couldn't. I didn't have like a crazy experience there, but that place is just so active. I was like literally with the other girls that were there. I was like, I can't be alone. You guys can't leave me alone. Like I literally was showering with the door open and like I'm going to the bathroom with the door open. Like you can't fucking leave me alone because I literally. If I was in silence, I had to sleep with headphones in. If I was in silence, I would hear voices. If I was like, it was bad. That place is just so active that I couldn't I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. But my whole spiritual experience started when I was like little.
Okay.
I used to have lots of dreams. And I used to have lots of crazy experiences where I would see like my very first experience. I was like 7 and I was sitting on a couch downstairs watching TV. And we had this bar set up and the faucet in the bar turned on by itself. It's like 2 a.m. Everyone's asleep. I was just a night owl. Like I've always been a night owl. So I was just up watching TV. So I get up, I turn it off and I sit back down. And like ghosts hadn't even processed through my brain. I was like, why did this just turn on? What the hell? Sitting there again, it turns on again. And this time I see a figure over by the faucet that then walks in front of me and through my fireplace, like a shadow figure. I'll never forget it. It was just like, it was clearly a male.
Right. It's funny how you know.
Yeah. He looked like, it was crazy, like his stature. He was very tall. He was very lean. But he was kind of gray, black.
Yep.
You could see through. And I just saw him just walk right through the fireplace. I got the fuck up. I sprinted upstairs, and I left that faucet running like you would believe. I got up, I ran upstairs, I woke my parents up, and they told me I was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And they made me go downstairs and turn the faucet off.
Oh no!
I was so scared. So that was my very first experience. And then after that, I kept seeing in my dreams this little girl and this little boy in my dreams, and they kept telling me that I was their mom, and it was. I think I was like 10 at the time. So I was like, no, I'm like not, same age here. I remember seeing a little girl in my room multiple times. And this is when I was getting more into the spiritual stuff. I was starting to experiment more. I remember seeing her in my closet. I thought my sister used to sleepwalk. So I thought my sister had gotten up because I heard somebody walking and I saw a shadow in front of my door. So I thought it was my sister. So I get up, I open the door, and there's no one there. Oh, no. And I just intuitively knew it was the little girl. And that night I had a dream about her, and she was attaching herself to me, and she was like, you can't leave me, you can't leave me, you can't leave me. Eventually they kind of went away. Eventually I stopped seeing them. And then this blew my mind. My family has a very dark history that I did not know about.
Oh.
I learned several years later that this is how do I explain this? My step grandmother had a daughter who lived in Northern California. She got involved with a very aggressive man. They ended up having 2 kids together, a boy and a girl. And this man would beat her, would abuse her, was very aggressive with her. This happened in Santa Cruz. You can actually look up in the news.
Oh, wow.
And she decided that she was done with him. And so she wanted to go to college and she wanted to live her own life and do her own thing. He didn't like that. So he left, or she left him, pushed him out. He eventually came back with a gun, and he killed the two kids. He killed her, and then he killed himself. And I did not know about this. Like, I did not know about this at all. And one night, after my parents had divorced, when I was like 19, my mom was like, "Here, I need you to give this box to your dad." And I was like, "What is this box?" It was full of children's toys. And she's like, "Well, these are all the toys of the two kids that had died in Santa Cruz." And I literally I get the chills talking about it.
I have goosebumps. I have goosebumps.
I literally started, like, I'm crying right now. I literally started crying, and my mom's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I used to see them." And she of course thought I was crazy, but I gave the box back to my dad. And I told him too, I was like, "I used to see them in our house. Like, they were always with us." And of course, nobody believed me. Those goods were given back to my grandfather, who then passed away. So I don't know what happened to them after that, but that has always stuck with me, because that was one of those things that I had no idea. These kids were trying to reach out to me. I didn't know. I was too young. I was scared. And it turns out that they were actually related to me. You know what I mean? They were my cousins or whatever that is technically. But I had no idea, and that was a really mind-opening thing to me of like, oh man, like maybe I am more in touch with things than I thought. But so I'm every time before I live somewhere or go somewhere, I'm always like, energy.
100%. 100%. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sorry. It's obviously very emotional for you, but that's so beautiful. And I feel like so much more connected to you, because you and I are very one and the same. Like, it's just funny because when you're a hypersensitive person, you go through your whole life, people being like, "You're sensitive," and it's a power. And children are the most susceptible to the spirit world, because you're innocent and you're pure and you have no idea. But just my gut instinct when you're telling that story, you should feel like, I heard what you said. You said, they were your family and they were trying to reach out to you. You gave them so much comfort by just acknowledging them. Like, they wanted to be around you. They wanted to be seen. Like, you completed what they needed, and you were there. And I think that's kind of why they went away, because maybe they crossed over with the comfort of having acknowledgement from their family.
I hope so, because it was, that whole story is just so tragic that they were both extremely young. I think one was like 7 and one was like 5. They were close and they were extremely young, and it's absolutely awful.
Yeah, you're very connected to the spirit world for sure. And as you get older, naturally, you're just taught that you're crazy and to turn it off.
Yeah.
And just, whatever. But then when you start tapping in like you have, you realize, well, shit, it's not just us.
Damn it. What do I do now? When I first lived on my own for the longest time, I could not be in the darkness. I could not be in silence. I could not be in and I know, because you've experienced stuff when you get that fear and you don't fully understand it or how to deal with it. It's hard to be alone, and that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. It's funny. I love being alone and I don't mind, but my strength has never been with the other side, because I think one of my strengths is reading a house. Immediately, I can tell you if there's something negative, something positive. Is someone died here? Have they crossed over? Are they chilling? Are they on this repeat loop that they're haunting, but it's not haunting you? It's just haunting the building. And where I live now is really chill, so I don't mind. But like you, going to that hotel, I've got a girlfriend who lives in Brantford, which is a really old part of Ontario. All the houses are easily over 150 years old, which is old for Canada, because we're babies.
That's old, yeah.
Yeah, and her house is so fucking active, and she's a witch, so she's like, yeah, whatever. I'm just in it.
And you're like,
I'm like, well, she didn't have to tell me. I knew when I walked in. I was like, girl. But upstairs, same thing. I kept seeing these shadow people walking back and forth on her banister, and just as you described, they're dark black, gray. You can usually tell gender, and it's weird because it's just a feeling.
Yeah, it is.
But she was gonna do Reiki on me, and I'm like, Michelle, like I can see shadow people walking back and forth. Like, what's the deal? And I thought for a split second, questioning my intuition, that there was a window and that maybe it was just people walking back and forth, and it wasn't shadow people. So I ran out there, and it was just a fucking wall, and we're on the second floor. So I don't know how I assumed people would be walking by.
I mean, I think our first gut now is like, what's the logical explanation for this? And then
yeah. So you also utilize crystals?
Yeah, I mean, yes, not like extensively. I always have my amethyst on, like, protection and all that kind of stuff. And then I have a lot of citrine around my house. I don't know why I really gravitate towards citrine.
I love citrine.
I love citrine. I don't know, it's a good, like, it just feels good. And then I have my little selenite to, like, cleanse my crystals. But, like, I just like having them.
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge crystal person. I don't have like a huge supply. I've got like a little pouch, but like I just like having them.
Again, you don't have to spend all the money. It's just the feeling it gives you and what it means to you. And
it's so funny. I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, I've never actually like openly talked about this stuff.
You know what?
A lot of people are like, weird about this shit. So I'm just like,
this is Team Weird right here. Team Weird.
We're
good. Chrissy Vane, who I was in WWE developmental with back in 2005, she went on this crazy 10-year journey. She had very similar situation where she was just like, she's audio voyant or clairvoyant, but it's audio, and she really taps into what she believes are angels, and they were like bugging the shit out of her about me, and like we were friends, like we would touch base, but we lived at different sides of the world and whatever. And she called me out of the blue and she's like, look, this is gonna make me sound batshit, but you're not done with you're not done wrestling, and basically your spirit angels are trying to communicate with you, but you're not tapped in, because I was going through a really nasty divorce, and the beginning of what was going to turn into a really nasty divorce, and I wasn't living my authentic self, and I was completely out of alignment, and I was like, girl, I am done with wrestling. It has been 10 years. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not fucking going back to wrestling. Are you mental? And here we are.
And I'm wrestling.
And I'm in a very public platform on a podcast talking about my connection to witchcraft. So I'm glad I was able to boop you on the head and have you talk about your truth. Because that's what I do.
I know, that's great. That's fantastic. Because why the hell not? In my opinion, like, it's like, why not?
Why not? It's funny because I feel like, obviously, us female wrestlers, we're a much smaller population in the roster than the men. We're all bonded by being misfits. Like, we've never met, but I feel very connected to you. Obviously, we're very comfortable speaking about things that we wouldn't speak to others about. And so many of us are actually really into this world of spirituality, whether it's quietly or out there. Like, Dewdrop is actually one of the most spiritual women I've ever met.
That's amazing.
She, no holds barred, says her connection to spirit, universe has been the reason that she went from developmental straight up, because it was about the power of manifestation, the power of spoken word, the law of attraction. Like, she would literally wake up and be like, start, whether it was journaling or just starting her thoughts and being like, I'm just getting ready today to debut on SmackDown. And like,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Changing.
Oh, that makes me literally what I'm doing right now.
Good. Like, changing your language is so important. Like not I'm working on it, or it's happening. Like, you speak about it as if it's now, and that's so powerful.
Well, every time I have a negative thought about my current situation or money or anything like that, I think it, and then I'm automatically like, money comes to me in excessive amounts from expected and unexpected places. Like, immediately, I'm just like trying to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, nope, this is not it. Like, this is my reality.
Yep. And it's hard. It's hard to believe it when you're not in a place of abundance. But being in that lack mindset will keep you in a lack mentality, and money is just energy, just like everything else. Our words are positive. Our energy is positive. That's what we throw out there. That's what's coming back to us. So stick in it, girl. Like, this is when you're doing the work. Like, this is your journey. It's going to come back to you.
I love that you dropped the spiritual, by the way. I don't know why. It's funny because she like glows. It's like hard to explain. Like, she's very glowy as like a person. So it kind of makes sense that she's tapped into like her best self. You know?
There is no glow like a spiritual woman. Like, it's fucking out of control.
It is because we're tapped into like, we're tapped into ourselves. Like, it's hard to explain here. It's more than just surface. It's like how you're really focused on the shadow work and stuff like that. By you working on that stuff, you're bringing out your better self. And a lot of people don't take the time to do that. So like,
yes. And a lot of people come to spirituality not in a place of love and light and granola. We get here because we fucking broke. So
yeah.
And
or just come back to it because you broke. Like, you're like, oh, I'm doing great. I don't need that. And then you're like, fuck.
Yep.
I'm not okay. So let's figure this out.
Yep. And like, don't get me wrong. Conventional therapy, reading, all these things are really important. If you feel depressed, like, spirituality is definitely not the be all end all. It's just like a really powerful tool to help you. But yeah, it's fucking real, man. And it's interesting. There, like I said, there are many women in this world of our crazy professional wrestling world who are actually really spiritual beings. And I'm like pushing them out the door to be like, talk about it. Or don't talk about it, but like, talk about it to me.
Right. Yeah. Just come on. Let's talk. Let's just you and I talk about it. It's fine.
Are we single, dating, or in a relationship?
Oh, I'm in a relationship.
Oh, you're so boring.
Sorry. I've been in one for over 3 years now. So like, I'm extra boring, I guess.
That's nice. That's really nice. Is he associated with the wrestling business? Does he support the wrestling business? Oh, he is. Cool.
He's a wrestler. He actually, I met him training. He technically is my trainer.
Girl, that's a story as old as time. Don't worry about it.
I know, but it was like one of those things, like, I got into wrestling for myself, and then like I met him, and he was so adorable. And I say adorable because he's 5'2" and I'm 5'8". I know.
A short king, yes.
He's my short king, and I love him for it. But he was so adorable and so feisty, and I was like, I'm not going to date anybody. And he's like, I'm not going to date either. And then we just ended up together.
You can fight the universe only so much. You can't help who you love.
No.
Have you seen those TikToks with the short kings when they're like, I woke up and I forgot that my short king was in bed, and they whip the sheet and then the guy goes flying.
Somebody said that to me, and they were like, you and Adam. So I said it to him, and he died.
That's really funny. I love it because like short kings, like, girls are usually 5. I'd say the norm. Like women's average in 2022 is probably 5'4", 5'5", but you're 5'8", and your man is 5'2". Yes, girl.
I ain't fucking around.
Do you wear heels too?
He lets. I mean, I don't normally wear heels because I'm just not a big heels person. I'm like a Converse and boots, and like all the time.
Same.
But he likes it when I wear heels. He's one of those guys that's like, be taller. And I'm like, okay. His mother does not know. His mother has looked me dead in the face and been like, please don't wear heels at your wedding. I love her, though.
That sounds like a her problem. It's fine.
She loves me and I love her. I just think it's funny because like, I'm so much taller than him already. So.
Of course. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, let's wrap this up before we lose any audio again or video. And let's do my top 10 tailor-made questions. It's like a speed round. Don't feel rushed because I want to hear all your answers, girl. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. What's a beauty product you cannot live without?
Can it be more than one thing? It's my skincare routine.
Absolutely. Tell me about it. I want to hear it.
And I say this because like I was missing parts of it for a while and my skin was just not the same and it messed me up.
Oh, no.
I'm really big into Korean skincare. Like that's like all I use. And I have my gel cleanser or my cream cleanser, and then I have my water-based cleanser, and then I have my toner, which is an AHA BHA based toner, and I feel like
Nice.
when I don't use it, my like pores get bigger. So
Oh.
I'm obsessive about it. And then I have a hyaluronic acid essence, which I love. And then I have vitamin C serum. I have a hyaluronic acid. It's like an eye serum. It's not even a cream because I've always read that eye creams are bullshit. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've always read that. So I've got this serum that I really, really love. And then I also have the hyaluronic moisturizer. And then my sunscreen. But like when I didn't have all of my parts of my routine, it was like I literally was like, my skin is not glowy.
Yeah.
Not the same. I need everything.
I am not dewy. This will not. This will not. You know what? I think it's amazing how far women have come, like, especially in your like late 20s, early 30s with skincare, because my mom didn't know shit about skincare. I don't even think my mom used anything on her skin besides the air for always. And like now, you know, we have our day cream and our night cream and our hyaluronic acids and our vitamin C's and our like
retinol and the BHAs. Yeah.
Fucking retinol. Yes, retinol.
Yes, I actually need to get retinol. I'm at that point. I'm like, fuck, I need to start using it a couple times a week.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 32.
Oh, yeah. It is retinol time.
Yeah, it's retinol time. It's retinol time. It's been retinol time, but I've just been too lazy to go get it. I'm trying. I'm like, eventually I probably am going to have to go get Botox eventually one day, but we're going to just back that off as far as we can. Like,
I waited until I was 35. Like a lot of my girlfriends on TV and stuff like that, they were all starting this like preventative Botox in their 20s. And I was just like, that's mental. Like you don't have any lines in your face. So what are you Botoxing? Like, I don't get it.
What are you Botoxing? Yeah. Well, they said that they do it because it prevents the lines from getting etched in, because then once the lines are etched in, you get filler. But also like, I've seen some girls that say that they've used the preventative, and I'm almost like, I feel like you have more wrinkles now because of it. But I could be wrong. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. I waited, so I don't think you're wrong, and you have stunning skin. So keep it up.
So do you.
Thank you. That's a good skincare line, girl. That is a good skincare range, and a little witchcraft and a little Botox. So
yep. There we go.
What is your favorite exercise?
You know what? I'm gonna have to say bench press. Like I'm not gonna. I hate leg day. Like I do it because I want the nice legs, but it is legit. Like I hate it. Like hip thrust gave me an ass. Like I'll say it like straight up. Hip thrust gave me an ass. Squats gave me an ass. Like and,
thank you.
Deadlift give me hamstrings. Of course, thank you. But like there's nothing like, it's really empowering to get on that bench press and like start loading it up and then just like you know, and
I agree.
The guys around you not be able to lift as much as you. It's like there's something really empowering about it. I almost got in a fight with somebody at the gym.
Yes.
A guy, he was on my machine. I was using a standing hack squat machine.
Yeah.
He was on the machine behind it. Like, so he could see through it because it was a standing hack squat. Yeah. And he was stretching on it. So I turned around and I asked him, I was like, hey, do you mind backing off a little bit? You're a little too close.
Good
and
for
he was
you.
like, that's weird. And I'm like, no, it's not weird. You're in my space, in my machine. Please leave. And he started going off. So I went off on him. And eventually he was like, well, why don't you just go lift weights in the girls section? Because that's where you belong. And I looked at him and was like, bitch, I can lift more than you. And sure enough, saw him a couple days later doing shoulder presses with like 20 pounds. And I pulled out the 35 pounders and was like, fuck.
Yes, girl. Good for you. And you know what? Fuck that. That's not a fight. Like, go in the girls section. That's where you belong. No, I'm sorry. It's a co-ed facility. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Open mouth chewers.
Are you a barn animal?
Yeah, I can't stand it. And you know why? It's because growing up, my brother and my mom would do it. And it was like, I literally would have to get up and leave the dinner table because it was so loud. So now every time I hear somebody do it, I'm just like, so whenever we eat, like I have to have noise. Like whenever we're in the theater, we do Alamo and, you know, you can eat while you watch the movie. I literally will not eat until the sound is bad. Like if it's a quiet scene, I'll stop eating. If there's food in my mouth, I swear to God, I'll stop chewing and wait until there's sound again because I can't stand the sound of my own chewing, let alone somebody else's.
Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh God. Probably Ryan Reynolds. I feel like that is like the most basic bitch answer, but like he's
No, it
pretty
is
cute.
everything that is good in the world. He's
Pretty cute.
beautiful. He's Canadian. It's
Also, he's just hilarious. Like I don't know, like he's like well-rounded and kind of funny and like
yes.
I don't know. It would be him or like The Rock.
Those are two very drastically different crushes.
But like, look, I just like guys. If they're pretty, like
I'm with you. Also, I feel like The Rock could solve world peace with his smile.
yeah, probably.
Just a general kind of observation.
Yeah, no, this is very true. This is very
What
true.
is your favorite band, or who is your favorite band or artist?
I'm gonna get so many judgments based off of this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with one of my ones growing up, and we're gonna go with My Chemical Romance.
Girl, yes. What is wrong with My Chemical Romance?
Like or Evanescence. I swear to God, that's what got me through high school. So got me through middle school and high school.
I still love Evanescence.
Hell yes. Hell yes. I saw that like she was going back on tour and I saw that My Chemical Romance was going back on tour and I straight up looked at Adam and I was like, we're going. We're going. And luckily he also likes them. He's gonna shoot me for saying that.
No, we're good. We're good. You know what? I totally went to an Evanescence concert early 2000s, like between 2000 2002, and I just broke up with this boy I was tripping over, and or he dumped me, and My Immortal started playing, and I was just like full tears. I was like, Amy Lee can see my soul.
You're singing like yeah, no, we've definitely blared that, sang it crying, so I understand.
Oh yes, we really are kindred souls. What is your secret vice? Like drinking a glass of wine in the shower?
Is that your secret vice? Because that's like really specific.
Well, it used to be, but homegirl's sober now, so
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
That's probably why I'm sober, because I was drinking wine in the shower. No shade.
I have a couple. One of my biggest vices is reality TV.
Nice.
Yeah, like I'll watch the trash, like 90 Day Fiance, and I'm watching I Love a Mama's Boy right now. Like it's great background noise, and it's absolutely ridiculous, and it is definitely a vice. My other vice is cupcakes. I will eat so many. I have no food discipline. Like I'm working on. I shouldn't say that anymore because I'm working on it. I have food discipline. But like I will eat. I used to eat full cartons of ice cream. Like I can just eat.
Is that wrong? Are you not supposed to eat the whole carton? Have I been doing
my
something?
scale says it's wrong. So.
Oh, okay. Right. Balance.
Fitness.
Yeah, that's why I work out, because life is too short. Like I'm like you. I used to have my cheat days, which is fucking mental. Like you hate your life for 6 days, and then on the 7th day, it sounds like some sort of religious moment. On the 7th day, you eat yourself until you want to die, and then you eat some more, and then the only thing you can do is go to sleep. And then you wake up 10 pounds heavier, because no one should eat that. But that was a long time ago. I also used to smoke cigarettes, but I don't do that anymore. So
also you wake up 10 pounds heavier because I didn't know this. To digest carbs, like complex carbs, like a lot of them, your body creates more water. So your body creates more water, and that's why literally you gain weight the next day if you eat like a pizza or like a shitty meal with like a lot of carbs in it. Like that's the weight, it's water weight. So that's why I was like learning. It was like, don't freak out when that happens.
Wow.
It goes away. But also I'm like you, I try to just eat healthy in general. And if I really crave something, I've really been trying to find like alternative recipes to make that thing just healthier. But if I really want to eat something, I'll eat it. You know what I mean? Like if I really want a pizza, I'll fucking eat the pizza. Like it's not going to kill me like every once in a while. We sometimes do like what we call like a cheat meal, but I'm also trying to get in the mentality of just like just
eat the
eat.
food you
Like
want.
like eat healthy most of the time, and then when you have something that's not so healthy, it's not that bad, you know.
And there's something to be said about like intuitive eating, like eat healthy most of the time. Like
Mhm.
I meal prep and all that shit. So I'm not gonna be like,
Yeah,
I eat what I want, because that's bullshit.
yeah, it is bullshit.
Um I'm not eating cheeseburgers and fucking M&Ms every meal of the day. That's what I want to
Right.
eat. That's not what I'm eating. But like you said, if you feel like you're eating the pizza, eat the fucking pizza. It's
Yeah.
not going to kill you. And when you actually like accept it, I feel like you have less like recognizance from it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I feel like you digest it. You don't fight against your body. And chances
No.
are it's probably because you're like coming on your period or something, and your body probably needs the extra energy.
Yeah, no, that is, I think that's one of the reasons why is I realized like I never want chocolate, but only when that time comes around am I like, I want chocolate. And if I try to do other things to curb the chocolate craving, it kind of just
Yeah.
makes it worse. And I
Yeah.
tend to eat more. So I'm like, well, I might as well just like have a little bit of this because my body wants this. Like, and as long as you're not like with intuitive eating, it's like some people take it to the next level where they're just like, oh, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna eat. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, you should still control it, but it's about finding that balance of like
Totally.
intuitive eating instead of it's not black or white. People like it's black. I'm like, no, it's fucking not.
No, it's just like intuition. You can't just like put it in a box. There's a middle area. What wrestler has the best entrance music?
This is really hard. I have three songs right now that I'm listening to on repeat. Okay.
Love it.
One of them is John Cena's theme.
Classic. Iconic.
The second one is Triple H's The Fucking Game. Okay. And the third one actually there's four. I'm gonna be just honest. Just completely honest. The third one is Randy Orton's theme.
Oh my God.
Voices, yes. And then the
good.
last one is Metalingus, fucking Edge's theme. So I just
you love wrestling. You love wrestling. That's fine. You're allowed to love wrestling.
I'm like at the gym fucking puppets and shit, and I'm like singing John Cena shit.
Just fucking in the corner.
Your time is up. My time is now.
Can't see me.
You can't fucking see me, bitch. Good for you.
Good for you. Live your best life. I love
Exactly.
that.
Fuck it.
What is your drink of choice? Doesn't have to be alcoholic.
I have a soda problem. I love straight up regular Coke and Dr. Pepper. So my
Very
go-to
American of you.
now is Coke Zero and fucking Dr. Pepper Zero. That's my go-to drink.
Balance.
Balance.
What has been your most embarrassing moment in the ring?
Okay, well, mine is I was in a match with somebody who is very like I'm green. I'm still green, but she was greener than me. Like 6 months, 7 months in green.
Oh, real young.
Real, yeah. And she's a very big girl. She looked like China. Like big girl. And she didn't know her own strength, right? So
dear.
They had her as she was the heel and I was the face. And like she went to go give me a suplex and it was not done the right way. She hooked my arm over her head and then she just went.
Oh.
Yeah. And she's so strong that she went and my head hit the back of the mat so hard that my nose started bleeding.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I've never, thank God since then, knock on fucking wood, I've never had that happen since then. But like, because there was so much, she was so strong, there was so much whiplash that my head hit the back of the mat. I get up and I'm pouring blood from my nose and I'm knocked out.
That's serious.
I remember being in the ring, but she was so new, she didn't know what to do. Shit. I was knocked out. The ref, I don't know what, didn't do anything about it. And I just heard the fans laughing. That's all I remember. Is like, luckily it was at a school. It was a small show. Probably nobody will ever fucking see it. But like, and I think they were laughing because like she was just standing there and like didn't know what to do. Like and I could literally hear audible laughing. Like that's all I remember hearing. And then I pinned her and it was over. And it was just like, you know how that goes. You've been knocked out in the ring. Maybe. Oh, yeah. We all have. Like, yeah.
I've been on the.
Yes.
Sorry. I've had many concussions. I've never been knocked out. I've been in the ring with someone who was knocked out. Angelina Love was knocked out by high crossbody off the top by me. She just clipped my hip bone, clipped her jaw just quick enough to be like,
right.
Yeah. And then she was like gonzo, like real gone, like eyes in the back of the head. It was live pay-per-view, and Awesome Kong was tied. It was also a cage match. Live pay-per-view, she was tied to the cage by her braids. Angelina Love was supposed to go over. I was supposed to drop the Knockouts title, and she was fucking and the ref was like, just pin her. They're saying just pin her, and I was like, I don't want to be champ anymore.
Yeah, you're like, wait. That's when you go for the pin, and then you just roll her over on top.
So I went over to Kia. I was like, kick me! And I just like ran into her, and she fucking kicked me, and I did like a half backflip, and I fucking pulled Laura and Angelina over me at the same time, and she pinned me, and I was like, oh, thank God, I don't want this fucking belt no more.
You're like, I'm done.
I don't want the responsibility anymore. I'm fucking tired. Get me the fuck out of here.
Yo, that's amazing.
Right?
That is amazing. That is that's working right there, brother.
Thanks. That was the moment. That was that moment for me where I'm like, this is all the things. Like, it's just me, live pay-per-view. I'm supposed to drop the belt. Homegirl is out for the count, but for realsies. And I felt good about my performance, so thank you.
Yeah, that's actually excellent. That's great. That's crazy. Especially like on a live pay-per-view. You're like, what the fuck do I do?
In a cage. Just a few eyes on me. No bigs. No bigs. Where can our listeners find you on the interwebs? What are your social media handles?
So I have everything is at Vert Vixen. So Instagram is at Vert Vixen. Twitter is at Vert Vixen. TikTok is at Vert Vixen. And then you can find my stream. It's twitch.tv/Vert Vixen. I really tried to make it easy for everybody.
Good.
Except for my Facebook, because somebody already owned that name when I created it fucking like 10 years ago for 3D modeling. I don't know. So that's facebook.com/Alicia Cosplay. But if you look up Vert Vixen, it comes up.
Lovely. We'll find you via Google. Google the Vert Vixen.
That's all you have. I'm very grateful that I have good SEO with that. You just got to Google my name and a bunch of shit comes up. I'm like, oh, thank God. I didn't have to do anything. Okay,
last one.
Yeah.
Finish this lyric. Wake me up.
Wake me up inside.
Yes. Nailed it. No hesitation.
None.
Well played. I feel like I'm on to something here. Speaking to Vert Vixen, I thought we were going to talk about streaming and gaming and wrestling, but as you all have started to notice, I am really just trying to talk about things that involve everyday life that are really different than you can get from any other wrestling podcast out there. And I want to talk about the things that I like, which are witchcraft and dating and I don't know, music and movies and things like that. So I really do hope you love the wild, wacky, wonderful, wicked content that Wilde On brings you every Wednesday. And don't forget to go over to the YouTube Wilde On channel and hit subscribe so you never miss any of the content that we are bringing you. Because I mean it. Like, this shit is hot and it is getting better weekly as I am stepping into my authentic, most divine, highest version of myself. That's right, your girl Taylor Wilde, and some really exciting things are brewing right now, so you better get on board and keep watching because you don't want to miss it. You're going to get all the hot tips right here because this is my baby, and I share this baby with the most badass women that I know, the Wilde On badass punk rock girl band, the Wilde On team. My right-hand woman, my queen, my editor and producer, Rochelle Douris, the woman that does all the things that I don't understand and I desperately need, like internet marketing, Madison Golshani, and our sweet baby angel, our helper, the woman that sings the Wilde On theme song, Sam Smith. I love you guys, and until next week, stay calm and wild on.